out in here. It's just this piece right here. In 2020, we dedicated that. And this is the part we're doing in the upcoming construction project.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Let's call the administrative meeting call to order. Would you please stand for the invocation? Bow head. Oh, gracious Father, thank you for another day, O Lord. O Lord, we ask you to bless this parish, O Father. Bless the ones that in leadership in this parish, O Lord. Please give them the wisdom and the knowledge to direct this parish in a great direction, O Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Follow me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, President report, none. Any legal council report?
We've got items to talk about during the day, but or during the meetings, so we'll just address them then.
All right, thank you. Any call for additions, deletions to the administrative committee? Being none, if any guests and public comments, administrative meeting. If none, administrative item, please.
All right, administrative items. Number one, reappoint Bruce Carroll, David Caston, and Dennis Reed to the Ambulance EMS District Board for a 6-year term.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any comments or discussion? If not, we'll vote. All right, motion passed. Item number 2, authorize the president to sign a resolution for Beta Land Services LLC requesting that the DeSoto Parish Police Jury place for sealed bids with Louisiana Department of Natural Resources all of the mineral rights owned by the DeSoto Parish Police Jury, namely streets, alleys, and rights-of-ways that Police Jury owns in Section 15, Township 12 North, Range 13 West, being more specifically described as Irma Street, Park Avenue, Brown Street, Matlock Street, Gabe Street, Circle Drive, Robert Street, Pine Street, Elmwood Drive, Matilda Street, the undeveloped street in Hollywood Addition, all portions of Gibbs Street, Shallow Horn Street, South Norris Street, East Mary Street, Maplewood Drive, Petite Street, located outside the corporate limits of the city of Mansfield, and the alleys located in Brown Park Subdivision, Brown Subdivision, and Jefferson Highway Number 2 Subdivision.
So moved.
All right, have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All right, vote please. All right, motion passed. Number 3, adopt the 2024 millage rates. Have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ross, second. I'll make a second.
Discussion?
Any discussion on the millage rates?
Yes, sir. Which of these is which?
The 4.75 is the general alimony supporting the parish government. 5.46 is for your solid waste, and 6.06 is the renewal that was passed last year for a road department. And in anticipation of any questions regarding the recent election this year of the renewal on solid waste, that will be rolled back in for the 25 year, which is assessed in 25. So that will be at 5.0.
That's my question.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion on the millages? I also asked Hoss why the millages went up. They adjusted them up instead of down. He explained to me that the parish actually, with the new reassessment and evaluation, the parish actually lost valuation in property values for the parish, namely because of course, CLECO, but oil and gas industry is way down. So a lot of our tax revenue for the parish has gone down. So these are the actually, from what I understand, these are the maximum millages we can roll up to. So 4750 and the 56, 5.546 would be the maximum. So. Any more discussion on the millage rates set for the parish? If not, vote. All right, motion passed there. Item number 4, accept the resignation of Dwayne Spillman and appoint a new member to the Planning Commission serving his remaining term.
So moved.
All right, have a motion by Mr. Clark,
Second.
second. I would like to nominate Mr. Tyler Rambin to the Planning Commission. Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to nominate Tasha Shelton.
Anybody else have anything? All right, we have 2 nominations, Mr. Tyler Rambin and Miss Natasha Shelton. Make a motion that we take them to the full jury at next meeting, vote on them like we did before.
So move.
All right, have a motion and a second to carry these 2 nominations for the full jury in 2 weeks. All in favor of that, vote.
We won't
You'll
be
just-
here.
You just want a
Yeah, probably won't.
roll call vote on that second?
Yeah, hold up, cause we won't be here.
Okay, that's fine. That's right.
I'm trying to make another motion.
Okay.
I move that we wait, cause we won't be here the next meeting. We going to the conference.
Oh, next meeting, everybody be out?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's carry it to the next month then.
Yeah. I
Full
move
meeting in
that
next
we
month?
carry
Can
to
you put that
next
on
month.
there?
To the regular meeting next month?
Yes, August instead of July. All right, and if there's no more discussion on that, we'll vote. All right, motion passed. Item number 5, authorize the president to sign the opioid litigation memorandum of understanding allowing DeSoto Parish Police Jury to participate in the Louisiana State Local Government opioid liquidation settlement process and use the funds to support expanding the drug court program.
So move.
Have a motion by Ms. Simpson,
Second.
second by Mr. Ross. Any discussion on that?
You got the judge.
And I was gonna, I know I've talked to most of y'all, I was gonna point out, in the agenda item, probably should have been worded differently, because it says support expanding the drug court program, and currently, as I talked to everybody, we don't currently have a drug court program. My ultimate goal is to to get one, but, in the meantime, and I've looked at this memorandum of understanding also, there's lots of things we can do with that money, to provide treatment, also provide, as I've been talking with Judge Adams or DA Adams, however he goes by lots of names, but, about possible things we can do to hopefully provide education and support to keep people out of the criminal justice system so that there wouldn't even need, and the money could be used for things like that too, so that they're not in the criminal justice system, they're not breaking the laws yet. So, like I said, like I say, I've talked to everybody about how we could use this money. And this is something I know that y'all voted on before. Y'all's concern previously was what happens in 18 years when the money's not there. The drug court program that I'm wanting to start, I would not be coming to y'all for money. There's sources of money beyond that. I mean, and like I've said, this would be money that helps, but I would not be coming back to the jury and saying, hey, we need money. So, I don't know if y'all have any other questions or anything.
Mm-hmm. I do. So is this program gonna be strictly for, this money gonna be used strictly for rehabilitation or?
Well, and no, I mean, and ultimately, yes, it would be focused on rehabilitating people with drug problems, or, and also some like education to hopefully prevent drug usage. And so, yes, ma'am, that's what it would be used for, whether it's all done through a drug court program or whether it's done in conjunction with.
How would we
treatment.
know if that's what it's being used for?
Well, and there's an accounting that's required in this, I mean, as this memorandum of understanding lays out, there's an accounting that's required and provided. And I would be ready and willing to answer and talk to y'all at any time, any questions that y'all would have.
Okay, reason I'm saying it, cause I was all for it until day before yesterday, everybody started calling me about this young man that just got 10 years for some marijuana. And this young man is a special needs person. And I'm so disappointed in the system, cause they passing out 10 years in the DeSoto Parish system to black men and women like it's candy. And that really upsets me. It really does. And the community is in an outrage about this young man, cause he a good fella. Don't get in no trouble, don't mess with nobody, he just rides his little bicycle. But his mind not good. And the community in outrage, and they talking about doing something about it, cause that if we gonna use this money to rehabilitate, that's what I'm gonna be looking for it to be done, and not locking these people up for 10 to 50 years, cause this only got 50 years on drug charges. It's really sad.
And ultimately, Ms. Burrell, I'm not sure which defendant you're talking about, but I do understand that I would love to fix some drug problems, because we see drug problems all the time, and treatment, I think treatment and getting somebody off drugs helps the community as a whole more than maybe locking them away forever. If there's some out there that we can help that can benefit the community and can benefit them, then yes, I would love to get people off drugs instead of keeping them.
I would too. Like I say, if that's what it's gonna be used for,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm all in. If that's what it's gonna be used for, because this locking these people up, then you get them over there, it's just a money racket, and then they paying for them to be, the state pay for most of them to be over there. They come out, no kind of skills, no kind of rehabilitation. And you know they coming back, cause we ain't gave them nothing to be a productive citizen. We don't give them nothing. We don't do nothing.
Right.
Over there, and I've been trying to get the sheriff to implement something. Natchez Parish had one of the best programs I ever seen, and they have had it for years. Where I had young men ask for a transfer to Natchez Parish, and Natchez Parish come out. All of them that I had transferred, they carpenters, electricians, plumbers, oil field workers. Know what I'm saying? Because they gave them some hope. They gave them something to come back out here amongst us with. And that's what we need. And if that's what you offering, I'm with it.
Well, and I'm not necessarily saying I'm fully offering something like a job program like that, but yes, I'm offering rehab and
Yeah,
treatment.
but if they can get rehab and get treatment, I can get them on the job.
Okay,
See what I'm saying?
yes, ma'am.
And also, you can report to us and give us an update.
Right, yes,
Quarterly or something.
and I don't mind doing that at any
Thank you.
time. Yes, ma'am.
Question, how soon does the program?
So on the drug court program, it's in the works, and I'm working on things that need to be done. However, like I say, under this memorandum of understanding, there's other things that can happen and can be done. There is a Forever Wellness. It's a new group in town, or a business or rehab group in town that, and I plan on working with them with these other options as soon as possible, saying, okay, how much of these can we get rolling and get in place to help?
Can we get, will we be allowed to get, I don't know if it's legal, periodical updates on how the program is
Yes, ma'am.
progressing as it's
Yeah.
getting up and getting started, which I know when we talked on the phone that you're already in the works with it. So I'm just wanting to know, can we get continued?
Yes, ma'am.
Update.
I can either update y'all, I mean, I have everybody's phone number.
Or it's some, in
or-
the form of writing, paper, just updating us, letting us know just how things are progressing.
Right, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah, you send it to
You,
staff and they'll put it in our boxes and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Okay,
You know, I talked to you about this, and I'll let you know how I felt about it.
right.
And the thing that gets me is like I told you before, the drug problem's not gonna go away until the penalties for the people that are providing these drugs, for the doctors that are prescribing these drugs, for the pharmaceuticals that are selling these drugs, the drug dealers on the street that get arrested. I'm not talking about the users or the people hooked on it, but the people that are supplying. Until those penalties get so stiff that they are not willing to take a risk to lose everything, then it's not going to ever stop. I've been involved in these rehabilitation programs. I worked at Union Pacific Railroad for 40 years. We had a 2-strike and you're out policy. First time you were taken, even a DUI. If I was coming home at night from a party or anything, I got a DUI, I had to go through the program. I had to go through the alcoholism drug program, and that was my first strike. When I got out of that program, if I ever got another DUI the whole time I worked at Union Pacific Railroad, or if I was taking drugs and I got tested at the railroad positive, my job was gone. I lost my job. But every time, as a local chairman and union rep for the union, that I represented these guys and I helped get them into these programs, every time, the ones that are involved in drugs, every time they took their first strike, they went through the program, and when they come out, they go right back to the same situation. They go back to the same wife, they go back to the same girlfriend, they go back to the same friends, and they're right back on it again. So every time they would lose their job because that second strike was gonna hit them. It's gonna hit them. So rehabilitation, I'm not really big into it. I don't know what the deal is, but until people get rehabilitated and then make up their mind that they're gonna change their life and quit hanging with the same people and places they hang with, it don't matter how much money you spend, Judge, on them, because they're gonna go right back to it. And the second issue I have with this is you say you're gonna be able to pay for this court through this money and other ways. You haven't told us any way that you're gonna come up with any other money. I know how much money this is, very little. A little over $1 million over an 18-year period. That's not much money in a year's time.
So,
So how are we going to supply the funds for this court in the meantime?
ultimately, the Louisiana Supreme Court has money that they provide for funding and of a drug court. In addition, there are other grants and stuff available. So, like I say, there's drug courts all over the state that are operating with the money provided by the Supreme Court, and other grants and stuff they can receive. So.
Okay, so you keep talking about the drug court. So the court itself, when they go to court and they stand in there in that courthouse in front of you, that part we're gonna be continuing to pay for. It's just gonna be a separate type of court, but we still pay for the courthouse, we pay the expenses, we do all that anyway. So
Right.
the part that you're talking about paying for is just the rehabilitation part, right?
No, I mean, it would not add any extra cost to the jury. I mean, yes, you are paying for the courthouse and what it takes to heat and cool the courthouse and all that stuff. It would, what the money that's coming from the Supreme Court would help with the rehabilitation, the treatment providers. It would help with other costs associated with running the court. So, no, again, I'm not planning on coming to y'all saying, hey, I need more money for drug court. So.
Yeah, I have one other I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am, Ms.
I
Simpson,
have
go
one
ahead.
other question. With the drug court, now this is important to me as far as, will this program also, I'm thinking about underage. If we have, 15, 16-year-olds.
So ultimately, right now, the drug court that I would be looking at, because there are juvenile drug courts.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, and that's not what I'm looking at right now. I mean, I'm not gonna say that there may be a possibility in the future, but, right now I'm looking at getting an adult drug court up and running. However, like I say, the money that's provided with this agreement would allow and create possibilities for us to do some type of education or stuff like that with younger people, but not necessarily in a drug court setting.
Okay.
See, it seems like two different things, though, from what you're talking about and what Ms. Burrell's talking about. You're talking about basically trying to get them off the drugs, is basically what you're talking about. What you're talking about is not anything to do with training for skills or training for a new job or anything like that. Now, she was talking about training,
And
but this is not going to include that, according to what I understood from you. This is basically just a program to get people off of the drugs or get them away from it.
And that's like I mean, I just told Ms. Burrell, my plan at this point is not a job training something. It would be a rehabilitation.
Okay, 'cause like I was telling you earlier, all the people I had to deal with, they had good jobs. I'm talking about good jobs. And it didn't bother them to go right back to it again. I mean, knowing that they were gonna lose everything, they still went right back to it. If they don't change their lifestyle, they're not gonna reform them, Anybody else? Yes. Go ahead, Judge, and then we'll get Mr. Jones.
So, drug court has been around, the concept of drug court has been around for quite a few years, and we've had it in DeSoto Parish in past times. Various reasons why it didn't continue forward back then, from lack of participation from the district attorney's office, and this was a couple of administrations ago, to the concept of drug court needs to be understood by everybody here. Someone that goes into drug court is accused of a crime, usually a drug crime. the district attorney's office pulls that person out of the pipeline of prosecution and places them in this pipeline of drug court. The person goes to drug treatment, counselors, everybody is following them. They have an attorney from the public defender's office. They have a representative from the DA's office in the courtroom when their case gets called up. And there's a discussion. How is this person doing? Well, this person is doing well, or this person is doing poorly in his treatment. The whole court turns into an endeavor, an attempt to encourage that person to succeed in their drug treatment. What invariably happens is you only get a couple of them that succeed. You may have, I know Judge Gasper was talking about beginning with a drug court with 10 slots, 10 positions. Well, part of my belief and observation is that we desperately, desperately need better and more drug treatment programs. And I'll sit here and tell y'all and everybody else here, I am committed as the district attorney of this parish to not prosecuting those who successfully complete their drug treatment. How do you accomplish that? What do we spend this money on? What I'm trying to explain to you all is that I would suggest that this money, because that's what the memorandum of understanding and the approved purposes is, I've highlighted, and everywhere through here, it's treatment, treatment, treatment. Now, there's other aspects of running a drug court and or administrative, if you want to call them that, cost associated with treatment that this money can be used for, but the main reason for its use, the main purpose of it, the whole gist of the settlement was so that the money that the drug manufacturers put into this pool would then go to treat those that were addicted, okay? That is where the money should go, in my opinion, my legal opinion and personal opinion. There's so many more people out there than 10 slots or 20 slots that would be court-involved addicts that need the treatment, that we should be funding the treatment so it's available not just to those who are drug or court involved, that's available to everybody that needs it, as Judge Gasper said, before they become court involved. So there was a time when this first came down that I sent the memorandum of understanding to the hospital, the local hospital here, in hopes that they would see that as a good opportunity for them to serve the community. It never took hold. But in my opinion, you've got to have a medical provider of some sort. And I certainly want to encourage the new providers that are in town, and I want to encourage them. And I think that's where the money should go, from the jury to the medical providers. It certainly doesn't need to come to me, or I don't think it needs to come to the judge, because all of this money, and this is down on the accountability portion of the cooperative endeavor agreement or the memorandum of understanding, the parties, and that is going to be the local government, whoever gets the money shall maintain for a period of at least 5 years records of abatement expenditures and documents underlying those expenditures so that it can be verified that funds are being or have been utilized in a manner that is consistent with the approved purposes definition. Approved purposes definition is treatment, 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 treatment. Okay. The legislative auditor shall have the right to audit the opioid funds. The purpose, if the jury votes to sign the memorandum of understanding, I think the jury needs to specify where that money is going to be going and what it's going to be spent for, because you're going to be subject to audit. you got to keep the records for 5 years. Treatment. So if we can make it available to as many people as possible, I'm all in favor of the jury agreeing to accept the opioid settlement money if they're spending it on treatment. The drug court, we can do it a number of ways. I'm certainly willing to participate and encourage the drug court program. Anything is better than doing nothing, but we've got to open it up to as many people as possible, give everybody that is, and not encourage people to go commit crimes just so they can then go get the opioid settlement treatment money in treatment. So it seems to me the jury needs to have a presentation from a provider that says we're going to provide treatment. You can't just sit there and turn the money over to Judge Gasper, okay? You can't just send it and turn it over to me. I'm not a treatment provider. The treatment is the gist and the reason for the opioid settlement money. So, and I'll be glad to try to answer any questions. I don't know if that, and keep in mind, I'm not against Judge Gasper on his drug court proposal. We can work it a number of ways. We can have an informal drug court, if you want to call it that, where we don't have to have a docket once a week that has court appearances by everybody just to come to court and say, well, here's how my treatment's going. We need the treatment program out there, and then they can come tell us how it's going, even without a docket. They can, there's a way to do it without making it too burdensome on everyone, but yet opening it up to everyone.
And I will add, and like he says, I mean, I agree. The more people we can help before they get to court, the better. And I'll even say if y'all want, and I can work with Forever Wellness and maybe some other providers about putting together some type of program or demonstration to y'all, or a program, or I'm trying to think of the word right now, but something to come to y'all and say, hey, look, here's how we can use this money, and here's where we can do that. If y'all would, I mean, if it would be better, if y'all think it'd be better to table this for now, you know, let me work together with Forever Wellness to put together
or if anybody knows of any other providers, tell them to step forward.
you know,
Yeah.
and we can put together a presentation and come back to the jury and say, look, here's what we can do, here's how we can do it. Because I do also agree, I'm not necessarily saying y'all give me the money. I would do what I can, participate and facilitate where I can to make sure that money is spent correctly, but I'm not asking for the money for myself, without a doubt. But so like I say, if y'all would feel better, maybe tabling this until I can get together a presentation with Forever Wellness, we can do that. And so let me get with them and get together a presentation, and then as soon as I have that put together, and then I will talk with Mr. Norton about getting back on the agenda and see what we can do at that point. So.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, before you go, tell me again about, I know you're saying the administrator of this program. You said you don't want to put it in the DA's hand, or the DA may not want it in his hand, and you don't want to administer it. So we're saying allow the hospitals sort of to be the administrator?
Well, and ultimately the money would come to the jury, through y'all. And so yes, but the treatment provider, like, it's somebody that can provide treatment. I can work with them, and then yes, we would figure out the best way to get them paid using that money for the services they're providing that can be compensated through this.
Didn't they just, they got one in Dr. Russo office.
Correct,
now,
that's
what
Forever
I thought.
Wellness, yeah. That's the one I'm talking about, Forever Wellness.
Cause believe it or not, cause I be on the street. I'm with the community. I know what it is. I know, I done been out there with trying to save people from the drugs and the gangs and all this. But I do know this for a fact. Some people will get treatment if it's right here for them. But they not gonna seek no treatment if they gotta go to DeSoto Parish, a negative spread. But if it's here, if you can just save one, we can save somebody. You just like we go. If you can just save one, then we did what we know supposed to do. So I'm with you on it.
Okay.
Also, when you get your information, find out how you qualify for the funds you were talking about the Supreme Court has,
And
and what it can be spent on.
Right.
How it is supposed to be spent.
Well, and
Can
I-
it be spent for treatment? Because if it can't be spent for treatment, then we're basically
No,
starting out in the hole right
it can
here.
also be spent for treatment.
Okay.
Yes. I do know that, yes. So, okay.
All right, any more discussion on this issue?
Motion to defer until a later date.
So,
Have a motion to defer this to a later date?
Second.
You have a second by Mr. Parker, all right.
I had second.
All right, all in favor, vote. Just a minute, all right.
He just ignored my second, I guess.
Mr. Gasper, when you come back, let's make a point also, we're talking about mental illness.
About what?
Mental illness, you know, we talked about that on the
Well,
phone.
yeah, and
A lot of people going to jail who are mentally ill.
Yep.
I know that was a big discussion in our conference in NACO, and so it's a nationwide concern about we are putting people who have mental illness in jail.
Right. And I do understand, and like I said, I agree. Ultimately, the opioid money doesn't necessarily
Right.
address that,
Right.
but yes.
But I
do
did think they was talking about some type of funding, so I mean, we get back in NACO next month, we
Okay,
get more information on that.
okay.
That young man they gave.
Thank you.
Got one remaining.
Got one vote remaining here.
Probably mine.
Okay,
But I wasn't gonna call you out.
all right.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you,
know,
Nick.
I'm never late.
All right, that motion, that alternate motion passed. Item number 6, discuss the compactor site's operating hours. Have a motion to discuss
Second.
and a second. I put that on the agenda, looking for a way to save some money and cost cutting. And a lot of our smaller compactor sites, the ones that don't bring in very much trash, they're being operated 5-6 days a week. And I asked Mr. Norton to see if we could get some schedule that would cut back on some of the hours. I know like the one here in Long Street, it's open 5 days a week, open in the morning time, open in the afternoon for a few hours, but not a lot of trash comes through there. And if we cut the hours back and just made it a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a Saturday open, then it would save, you know, if we did that with a lot of our compactor sites, we could save a lot of money. One particular schedule he came up with would save estimated $270,000 with, I think we figured on about 9 of the compactor sites over the parish. Cut back on the hours of some of them,
No, that was a modification of every compactor site.
everyone?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Modification on hours of all of them. And then try to make a lot of the hours more the same. I think we got some compactor sites that don't open until 7 or so, and then some that open at 6, make them all open the same hours and close the same hours also.
A lot of the modifications I made in the two schedules reflect you're cutting an hour off the front end and the back end, and also some of the sites that are more the outliers that are literally taking in 30 tons of garbage over the entire year. They're going out there maybe once every quarter to pick up a compactor, not an open top, but a compactor. I have the data for all that, but you can, one of the schedules was, and these are just proposals, you have 1,145 hours per week for all 18 compactor sites. If you were just to modify, instead of like Mr. Holmes said, modify it from, instead of them opening at 6 o'clock in the morning, let them open at 7 o'clock in the morning. Instead of them closing at 7 o'clock in the evening, letting them close at 6 o'clock in the evening. You can save as much as $270,000. That's one of the schedules that I had. But those are just things that I've been looking at, actually, over the past couple of years. That's one of the items, so.
Basically, I just wanted to kind of bring this to light and let everybody kind of see what we possibly could save and start thinking about it. And possibly by the end of the year, maybe during our budget discussion, stuff like that, we might decide to make a move on it. But nothing to decide tonight. You can get your information if, did you give it that, is that, everybody have these schedules?
Everybody has the current schedules. The proposed schedules, I didn't distribute that. That was,
Okay.
what was not, I can do that. I
Get
can
that
email
to
everybody.
everyone and let 'em
the
look it over.
Various proposed schedules.
Kind of
Can you compare too?
compare on, so.
Yeah, we would need that because we would,
Sure.
we don't have anything to compare to.
I'd like to see each compactor
Yes.
site's production as
Yes,
well.
Yes,
I can send you
please.
that. It's a lot of data, but I can send it to you.
Thank you.
I prepared the averages. I've prepared for the past 7 years worth of data that we have out of the system. So, I mean,
All right, any more discussion on that? Item number 7, reinstate allowing employees to hunt on the DeSoto Parish Police Jury property as long as correct indemnifications are signed and approved by the parish administrator.
So moved.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Yes.
Sir. Go,
Yes,
go
ma'am.
big,
Ms.
go
Simpson?
baby.
Okay, so we're gonna go from not allowing them to hunt to allowing to hunt. What's the justification?
an
now?
employee asked if they could hunt on the jury's property, and I said, that has to be a decision of the jury. That's not my decision. They rescinded that last year. I personally have no objection to it, but making sure that the jury is adequately covered liability-wise on that.
Okay.
And I know Jennifer McKay and I discussed this. She said the indemnification that y'all have before y'all it's good, but it needs to be shored up some more. But I know, since then, District Attorney Adams has raised some concern, which I agree with, I mean, there is a liability you're going to have when you open something like that up to people in general, but that's not a decision I have to make. That's a decision y'all have to decide on.
You
So,
already had made it.
yeah. But I was asked to put it. But I was asked to put it up. Arnell agreed to put it up, put it on the agenda for us to discuss. So, I mean, whatever y'all decide to do. I mean, you can allow for me to vet the person, make sure. I mean,
How many employees hunted on police jury property before it was voted to restrict that?
2
Okay.
since my tenure. Before that, I can't tell you how many there are. And then the jury would entertain letting jurors themselves do it and other employees do it, but no paperwork there was no
No paper trail.
indemnification in place to protect the
To
jury in
protect
case someone
us.
got shot or hurt or something like that. Fortunately, nothing like that happened, but that's, when y'all hired me, that was one of the things that we did initially was I drafted that and made the employee sign that.
I'm sorry. My concern, I'm sure if we have issues out there and, to eradicate some of the issues, but, the animals or whatever they hunt out there. But my concern is we can get them to sign this form, but my concern is this is a juror that's gonna sign this form, but I don't need the juror and his buddy and his homeboy I mean, how's that gonna work?
It wouldn't. They would not be allowed to do that. It would only be the
You-
person.
you see where I'm going
Oh,
with
sure,
that?
absolutely.
So, I got permission, so I'm gonna bring my buddy, but my buddy hasn't signed this.
Correct.
So that's what's kind of floating
Policing
around
that
in my.
would be difficult. You're right.
What would you
It's
do?
homeboy, huh?
What would you
I
do
mean, I'm
about
just-
multiple? This indemnification that they sign, is that for just like, he wants to hunt Saturday? So it would be good only for Saturday? Or that would be good for during hunting season?
It'd be only during hunting season.
So it would be
in-
good for
in
the entire
accordance with the
season.
state
So,
regulations.
Let's say, employee number one goes out there, he signs it and he's out there hunting. Employee number two wants to hunt, he gets one and signs it. But they're not communicating with each other. So the second one walks out there and begins to start hunting and the first one shoots it.
That would be why I would
I mean-
want to vet that myself to ensure that, if y'all were to allow that, people would not be on top of one another or hunting around one another.
Well, I mean, I can see allowing so many, like, how some places what's the word I'm trying to say? They get those tickets. A lottery.
It's out there. is what-
So once you get chosen in that lottery, if that's 5 that we're gonna give out, that's
You'll
it.
never know when they're
Right.
out there or not.
That's it.
Sure.
Yes.
It's a liability, bottom line. That's gonna be a liability. And, no, sir. I mean, we shouldn't have no firearms on our property, especially no hunting, like she said. What if somebody else jumped the fence? I'm just calling them a spectator. And they done sneaked in there and hunt and then somebody shoot them. We still gonna be alive because that's our property. See what I'm saying? No, sir. We shouldn't have no gun. We had one incident out at the landfill. So, we don't need to be doing that. I said, when I was asking about was we covered, and I don't think the insurance company agree with that because it's a liability for them. And when I was talking about when they were shooting up there at the 4-H building, everybody and his uncle showed up in Mansfield because I said they were shooting at the 4-H building. But then when I sent you that picture, all them bullet holes in the building. See what I'm saying? Somebody could easily got shot. No matter what they were shooting, it was enough to penetrate them walls because I had at least 9 bullet holes up there. A picture of them. That's what made me raise the question in the first place because I saw the bullet holes, but I never did try to explain to y'all. We don't need to be doing no kind of nothing with no firearms on our property.
Any more discussion?
I would comment that the agreement that is in the book needs an awful lot of addition to it, but we won't do it unless the jury has the appetite to go forward. I'm not sure you can draft a indemnification agreement that will sustain and suffice to give the jury no liability, but there's ways to reduce it, but I don't think you can eliminate
Totally
it.
eliminate it. That's enough for me.
No, sirree.
Anybody else? If not, we'll vote on this issue. All right, motion failed. All right, that's all for the administrative committee. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Have a motion, second, all in favor?
I think Airport was up. We can go.
Where we going to?
Yeah, airport was up next.
Airport Animal Control is next.
I do apologize. Alright, Airport and Animal Control Committee called to order. Call for any additions and deletions? Guest and public comments? Okay. Airport and Animal Control items. Number one, authorize the president to sign the master service agreement with KSA as the consultant engineer for the airport. A motion?
Second.
Second. Any questions?
How much,
Let me see, I saw it.
Mr. Parker got a question on this.
I'm sorry.
how much, engineering do we have out at the airport? We've got an engineer hired for the parish.
Let's try to find- Is Ms. Jackie here?
Anytime you do any sort of project out there, you have to consult with an engineer that's vetted through FAA. And this is what they specifically do.
There's 113 pages. I started reading some of
Right.
it.
Yeah, but
Y'all do this every, is it 5?
Every,
This is every 5 years.
Right.
There's no
oh,
fee.
there's Ms. Jackie.
This is just saying KSA.
yes, ma'am, come on down.
Well, you said no fee, I'm good.
And so,
There's no fee for this. This is just saying that KSA is our engineer consultant for our task orders, for our FAA, for our DOTD projects.
Yeah.
They are the one, that's why we use them, those particular, specifically for the airport, because they are FAA, DOTD knowledgeable versus the one we have here more so deal with the roads and the trench and the ditches, so they're not familiar with all things aviation.
that's what when I was going through that 103.
Yeah, there's no fee
I
just
was
to sign the
reading
master
through it.
service agreement. There's no charge for that, we're just
But they
signing that
actually
saying.
do.
Yep, we're gonna use them as our consultant engineer.
Okay. If you'd put that first, you wouldn't have to come up here. All right.
Questions?
No,
Sorry.
make the motion.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right, will we please vote? Motion pass. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, we are adjourned.
Budget and Finance Committee, please.
Call the Budget and Finance Committee to order. Call for any additions or deletions to the agenda. Hearing none. Any guest or public comments for the agenda?
I think we might have one.
Come on.
I think this is where I'm supposed to ask to resubmit the, number 4 on the,
Yes, ma'am.
guess I'm in the right place.
Yes, you are.
Okay, we had asked, as foster grandparents, we had asked for, to hit some, assistance with our, meal for June, for like paying for a lunch for, 40 volunteers, like 20, like barbecues, like 20-something dollars, you know. So, but we did that in June. So I would like to resubmit it, this, asking for this $1,000 for it to go to our community center. The community center being open or having someone there allows the foster grandparents to go to the community center as a site when, in the summertime, when school is out. So if we don't have somebody at the community center to supervise the volunteers, we can't count those hours. So I would like to resubmit this, or, you know, instead
So
of,
it's the increase with the $1,000, that's what you're saying?
no, we would keep it, you know, at $1,000 or whatever, but instead of the money going to Southern, for the foster grandparents, I would like for it to go to the community center. So, somebody can be there, we can pay somebody to be at the community center to supervise the volunteers, because they can't go to a site and without supervision. That makes sense?
Yes. Which community
Which
center?
community center?
KCS.
KCS.
So I would like to resubmit it, or
Yes, ma'am.
if that's what we need to do.
Okay.
You saying resubmit it?
I don't want it, see, the one that I wrote,
Submit, oh, you
submitted was for
The
the foster grandparents. We've
Okay.
done that. That was, you know, it was supposed to be for June. We've done that. We've had our lunch that we, you know, submitted it for. So I would like to resubmit it for the community center, so we can pay somebody to supervise the community center while the foster grandparents are there. Because they can't go to a site without supervision.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to let you know that I would like to
Well,
resubmit it.
That's basically what this is saying.
What?
This is saying amend the general budget amount of $1,000 and approve the President Steiner Cooperative Endeavor Agreement with Susla AmeriCorps Senior Foster Grandparents Programs in DeSoto to help with administrating the program.
But that's for
This is not, now, the one that we passed in June was actually for to feed them. This one here is a separate, just to help with administrating, which can be used to pay for somebody to be there when the foster grandparents are there.
But if you sign a cooperative endeavor agreement with Susla AmeriCorps, the check would go to Susla Southern University campus, you know, and they would administer the funds to us. But that's not what I would like to happen.
Who do you want us to write the check to?
To the KCS Community Center. That way, the money, we can pay somebody to supervise the volunteers while they're there. Because they can't go without being supervised. It's like,
Are y'all,
Yes.
are y'all chartered? Is the center chartered?
yes,
It's chartered?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We'll get that when we get down to number 4.
Okay.
We'll change that.
Any other guest or public comment? Hearing none. Number 1, reappropriate $680,000 from the solid waste capital outlay, cell 10 construction. It's basically an $8 million budget to solid waste capital outlay equipment to purchase one number 740 articulated truck. The cell 10 construction came in under budget, so we have the funds available to buy a truck.
Okay, so move.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Yeah.
Motion passes. 2, amend the registrars of voters' salary budget in the amount of $34,37 to cover the salary expense for the remainder of 2024 for the extra employee granted by House Bill 89, Act 596.
So moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please, ma'am.
Oh, so we'll be adding another employee to our payroll, right? And this, how much this is?
It's 3437 for the remainder of the year. I think it's,
Roughly 17,000 a year.
Okay, and how much the state gonna pay?
2/3.
2/3.
No, that's
So the-
17,000 is just our part.
Correct.
I know.
You know, the other 2/3 of the salary will be the state. They'll pay twice that much.
Okay, but from, it's saying right now is that we're amending the budget for for the remainder of the year. It doesn't say anything about 2025 yet. Am I correct?
Correct,
Correct.
that would be
So
in the
this
budget
is just what we're
preparation.
amending. This
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
cost to us, this 3,437.80 for the rest of this year.
Yes, ma'am.
We still gonna be adding another salary to our,
But that's only if it's approved in the 2025,
Well, it'll be included in your 2025 budget.
for us to possibly approve or not.
now we
Well-
gonna be approving it for everything, right, Ms. Garcia? That's,
I mean, yeah, you will, essentially, the state gave them, they granted another employee, so I
Okay.
would put that in the budget for 2025
Okay.
for the whole 17,000.
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Only thing I just got a problem with us adding all these salaries. Everybody want a salary, it don't be. Then when we need to hire somebody, we got too many salaries. Y'all realize how many salaries we done added to, the police jury that we pay in other places? We adding a mighty lot of salary. I keep trying to tell y'all, we ain't gonna have all this money, and it's gonna be sooner than what y'all think. And then we continuously adding salaries. I know I can count about 10 of them been added since you been here, Mr. North.
What are we going to, what's this new employee going to do, Amanda?
Okay,
That's what the state pays.
that's what we are.
She needs to stay to the pay.
That's what
She needs to
Okay, gotcha.
How are y'all?
How you doing?
I'll just give you a quick rundown of what we do at our office real quick besides early voting and mail ballots. How about that? And then I'll tell you what I'm doing with 2 full-time employees. So just to give you a quick rundown, our office, since inception of the Registrar of Voters office, under 30,000 population, the state allotted 2 full-time employees for the Registrar of Voters office. At the time of inception, there was no early voting, there was no mail voting, there was none of that, and many of the other things that legislation continues to pass for our office to do. So my salary and my chief deputy's salary are also funded 2/3 by the state and 1/3 by the parish. I just prepared another slideshow whenever I went down to the state for the Secretary of State's request to come down and do a presentation down there on our duties. So we do obviously all of the voter registration, and that entails, we've got around between 17 and 18,000 voters right now in DeSoto Parish. We do conduct absentee by mail voting, the early voting. We conduct our nursing home voting program, which requires several steps prior to actually making it to the nursing home, obviously. All of our Parish Board of Election Supervisors meetings that we conduct, aside from the tour that are done at the warehouse, all of the work that goes into the testing and logic and accuracy on all of our machines and updates and all of that stuff. All of the redistricting that you guys experienced recently, our office is responsible for implementing every bit of that. And that includes personally verifying, as we come across things. I know I've been in touch with Stonewall and South Mansfield. We've gone through and reviewed all of their lines. We're in the process of reviewing all the school lines, not the school board, the school lines themselves. The districts that I haven't put my eyes on myself since I've been in office. We do all of our voter outreach with the communities and the schools and things like that, along with all of our records retention that are required by law. I just want to point out a few quick stats so y'all grasp the amount of voting and labor that's put on my office to be split between two full-time employees. In the 2016 presidential election in DeSoto Parish, there were 632 ballots received. Mail ballots received back. In the 2020, there were 1,505. That's a 4-year increase. It more than doubled. The early voting in-person turnout for the 2008 presidential was 1,832 in DeSoto Parish, and in 2020 it increased to 7,546. The early voting and in-person mail and mail ballot turnout total for the 2020 election was 8,584 people. Versus the election day turnout for that same election was only 6,152. We are regularly doing well over 70% of voter turnout in our office alone with two full-time people for this parish. It's a huge burden. We operate both early voting sites. And by law, I'm required to have a full-time staff member at each location. So that puts Karen and myself being the two full-time people. But if something happens in Stonewall that I have to go deal with on my own, I have to leave my temporary part-time people in charge at the Mansfield office because I have to go deal with something that only I can do, you know? So I'm in violation of the law because I don't have enough full-time staff members. This is not a problem that is specific to DeSoto Parish. There are several other parishes that are operating at that same speed, you know, where we're on the cusp of that 30,000 mark. And so to accommodate that and to help the parishes, legislature passed this year, and it passed without opposition through the House and through the Senate to change the threshold from 30,000 down to 19,001, and they would fund an additional third full-time employee to assist the parishes. So they would take on doing the 2/3 of a third full-time employee as well if the parish, and it's just based on the parish's agreement to fund their 1/3 portion of the full-time employee.
So you got some part-time employees too, right?
Seasonal. They are allowed to work. The state funds them 3 weeks prior to Election Day. The state pays fully for them 3 weeks prior to Election Day through 3 weeks after Election Day, each election cycle. And then I have one part-time employee that works 28 hours a week roughly, year-round. That was offered by the parish upon our agreement to do the second early voting site, just because I didn't have anyone else to leave, you know,
So the full-time or the employee that's part-time or whatever you called it, that works year-round, is that considered a full-time employee?
No.
So what
They're
was the-
year-round, but not full-time.
What was the reason for hiring her if she can't be at one of the other sites? Because you said that was the reason for hiring her is when we opened the other site.
Because
But she
the
could- she-
jury voted to do another site, and I said I have to have at least a year-round employee that, I'm still not in compliance. If I have to leave my office, that left two full-time people, one there and one in Mansfield, one in Stonewall, one in Mansfield, myself and the chief deputy. But, you know, I'm still not in compliance. If anything happens and I have to go to the other site, I'm not in compliance with the law because I don't have a third full-time person.
Y'all didn't think about that before y'all opened it one in Stonewall?
Y'all opened that one in Stonewall, not me. I just agreed to operate it. Oh, no. That was at y'all's request, not at mine. That was before me. The conversations that started on that came well before me being in this office.
So we hire a new employee full-time, are we gonna continue to have the part-time employee
That's up to y'all. That's your prerogative.
year-round?
I would like to, but that's up to you all. She's unable to move to full-time, so,
And what is the population of DeSoto Parish now? Do you remember? Do you
26
know?
and some change, 26,782, something like that.
What?
26,000, almost 27,000, right under 27,000.
Registered voters, you saying?
No, ma'am. Registered voters, we have between 17 and 18,000.
I thought.
Yeah.
And voters out of that number.
I'm sorry.
You know the voters count out of that number?
How many are voting?
Yeah.
In the presidential election the last presidential election, we had like a 73% turnout. And you can do the math real quick for me, Ernell. It was 85-84 plus 61-52. That was the turnout in the last presidential election. That's what we're looking at. They're expecting a 20% increase is what they're telling us to anticipate for early voting and mail combined, is a 20% increase from this 85-84 that we had last presidential election. That's what we're preparing for. So early voting in DeSoto Parish, contrary to the trend around the state, tends to be much larger than election day turnout. So we did over 73% of the turnout. If I remember my percentages correct, it was well over 70% of the turnout in my office alone of the whole presidential election in 2020.
Any further discussion?
So the new employee you hire, will that be the part-time one now? She's gonna go to full-time?
So my year-round part-timer is, she's unable to work a full-time job with, she has a special needs child that she takes, she's the full caregiver for, that's in her 20s. And one of my other seasonal part-timers that's been with me for almost 2 years, I think now, she would be who I would have in mind to step up to full-time.
Notice by these numbers here, they better hope you never get up to 300,000 because right now with 3 employees, that's only 21,666 people that you serve per employee. But if you get up to 300,000, they expect you to serve 42,800 people.
So that is a good point, but it's important to remember that you split the duties, which are the same across the parishes. Regardless of how many people you serve or how many people turn out in an election, we have basically the same duties. Every election, the same demand on our staff. We have to do the same things. And when the actual turnout of the election is minuscule compared to all of the preparation that goes into it and the audits and the things like that. So I know everyone thinks our office just does registration and voting and that's it, but there's a awful lot that goes into the back end of it all.
Yeah, I know, 'cause I be there.
Yeah, see? You would have never expected that we do what we do until you came, would you have?
I be there.
It's a lot, whether it's a 10% turnout election or a 75% turnout election. It's the same amount of work, and Miss Jerry sits there through them too, so she can attest to that. It takes us the same amount of time, no matter how many people turn out.
Yep, he do.
No other discussion? Y'all please vote now.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Item number 3. Amend the general budget and approve the president to sign a cooperative endeavor agreement with the city of Mansfield to contribute funding in the amount of $67,558 to purchase fire equipment.
So move for discussion.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second, discussion.
Hey, the chief's coming up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How everybody doing?
We all right? You?
I'm pretty good. So once again, we're up for our grading through the property insurance of Louisiana, which predetermines what everybody will pay on their insurance here. So being that we protect a lot of the DeSoto Parish buildings along with the courthouse, all of your buildings are here, that duty falls upon us. We kept our rating down last year, thanks to Ms. Burrell, where we were able to purchase some equipment that we greatly needed. That was 5 years ago. We haven't asked again. So the mayor has done a tremendous job with getting us a fire engine, which the ones that around here know we need it. That's a very good point that's gonna help us on our rating along with a rescue truck. So he have did all that. So this equipment that we have here is gonna be consistent of some air packs, different fittings that we need to have on the truck that makes us in compliance. The property insurance doesn't just grade us differently, although we're a rural area. They grade out everybody the same, which of course costs more money. So this is the contribution that we're needing to try to keep everything. Now, I want you to understand, we went a year and a half on previous administration without a fire chief. So I've been working my butt off trying to get us back to where we need to be. So hopefully everything goes well. We're just needing your help.
I just want to say, you right. When you look at DeSoto Parish, all our buildings sit right here in Mansfield. Y'all have a lot of buildings that y'all responsible for that belong to us, which gonna affect our insurance rating too.
Yes, ma'am.
That's one thing. Okay. Now, this how I'm looking at it. Y'all come and ask for help and y'all really need it. We got the hotels, the hospitals. They have to pay for the hotel fee.
Right.
And stuff, which the whole parish benefit from that.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So that helps every other fire district. The money from these hotels and stuff, it's helping every other fire district in DeSoto Parish. It really does. So when Mansfield asks for something, we shouldn't have a problem with letting y'all have it, because y'all protecting all our business, and the rest of these fire districts don't have that responsibility. The city of Mansfield do.
Correct.
And you have done a good job. I read your stuff. That's a good job, and you need it, because it's sure gonna affect the fire rating. And I'm tired of paying all this high insurance, me myself, personally.
So Ms. Burrell, what you're saying is, the city of Mansfield do not get a tax, but the other fire district get a tax.
Yeah,
for that.
they benefit from the hotel fees. These hotel fees, these 3-4 hotels set in Mansfield, they get the benefit from it.
Jimmy?
The city of Mansfield actually collects a total of 17.15 mils of property tax that is not at all exempt from homestead exemption. We just voted on our millage rates for a total of 16.27 mils. Mansfield collects more in property taxes, millage-wise, than the whole parish does, us. As far as them benefit, all the other fire stations benefiting from these hotels and things, our fire station gets paid. They make their money off of millages, that's all. So our little rural area over at Keachai, one of the lowest taxed districts around because of the property values, their fire stations run on just property taxes, nothing more. No sales tax, no income from anything coming off of a hotel here in Mansfield or anything else. And as far as us helping Mansfield, if we're gonna give $68,000 to Mansfield, I think we got about 8 or 9 other fire districts in the parish. Let's cough up about $500,000 and give each one of them their $67,000, because they all operate on what they come in on, and they have a budget, and they stay under budget, and they do a good job, and they keep their fire rates down also. So, I don't know what the answer is here, but again, Mansfield is asking for things, and they already got taxes to pay for it themselves. No other fire district's coming in here asking for a new truck or anything. They're paying for their way, you know, but with their own tax revenue.
They did not ask for a new truck. Look, you got the courthouse, you got all these buildings over here, DA's office, tax assessor's office. You just named, do y'all realize how many buildings set within this city that this fire district is responsible for? All the rest of these fire districts not responsible for all that. Mansfield Fire District is. I mean, the courthouse. You get the name and all these things. Buildings that, how many is it, Chief, that the city of Mansfield is responsible for DeSoto Parish?
You got the new school board office, of course. Mr. Holmes, do you know what the operating budget is for Keachai?
Not right off the bat. I could go to their meeting next month.
I can
week and
definitely
let
assure you.
know.
I can definitely assure you that it's bigger than ours.
Smaller, I hope.
Yeah, well,
I hope smaller you meant.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, ours is
Hope you
very
would.
small.
Oh, y'all's is very small
Yes,
operating
sir.
budget?
Yes, sir. Just for
You need to go to your mayor and ask for more in the budget, because he has a budget that he sets every year based on the millages, the property taxes he has come in, and the sales tax. Y'all don't even realize the town of Mansfield, the sales tax is higher than any other parish, place in the parish.
Yes, we realize, trust me.
Their proper, sales tax is higher than anywhere else in the parish. So you're getting more sales tax and more property tax to fund your fire district and your fire stations. You know? And, as far as, the courthouse concerned, the first spark that goes off over there, it'll be burned to the ground before y'all ever get it out. I'm guarantee you that, old as it is. So,
Who, say what? Say that again?
But
said
y'all
it'll be
still
burned.
gotta go over there and fight it
all
on.
them big nice buildings, how they get, how y'all build them? Off taxes, that's what you're saying, off y'all own
what big
personal
buildings?
taxes? I mean, we pay taxes too, that benefit this whole parish.
That's right.
So don't go there.
I'm just
Mr.
talking
Holmes,
about the
don't go
taxes
there,
that
'cause
you
y'all
collect
the
from the
benefited
city.
from taxes coming out of Mansfield too. So don't, cause y'all finna upset me by Mansfield.
You're wrong there. Each fire district has their own separate fire tax that only pertains to their fire district. That's
Yeah,
how,
that y'all, some of them just recently passed, but when them buildings was built, no sirree, they wouldn't. Cause I was going to all the meetings, up there during that time. Second, y'all didn't have no problem. Y'all donated property up there for what's fire district in Stonewall, and they sold it for $250,000.
wait a minute.
That's fine. That's
correct
cool.
that. Let's correct that, okay? We didn't sell it for $250,000. We sold it for $210,000.
Well, $210,000,
And
what
the
the
property,
difference? And
and
they
the
asking y'all for
property
67.
value, and the property value in which that building sat on, which is all you donated to Fire District 3, was the property, not the building, because we already had the building. Okay?
And,
The property
and-
value was only worth
and
about
being that
$35,000.
You brought it up. Yeah, they did that transaction. They made, and it was just illegal. It was illegal to do that because we
Take
cannot
me-
donate or sell any property.
Have the DA arrest me and take me to jail, okay? If it was illegal.
It was illegal.
I
You
don't
know it
believe
was,
it was,
Mr. Baker.
man.
Mr. Baker.
Yeah, man.
Sir.
That's
I think y'all doing great work. I really do. I have no problem with Mansfield Fire Department. I have a little bit of a problem with us having to fund you, because I know how all the fire districts work in this parish. I know that if there is a fire in Mansfield, you're not the only one called to the fire, are you?
no, we all work on a mutual aid.
Y'all work on mutual aid. So as Miss Jerry says, since we all work on mutual aid, DeSoto Fire District 8 is coming in here assisting you in a fire, and they're not receiving a penny from Mansfield.
That's if they don't have already a fire.
That's right.
Well,
But
you
if they
did.
don't come, another fire district's gonna come. And I know there's enough fire in Mansfield before it's over with, probably every fire district in the parish is gonna be down here in Mansfield. Because I know how all the fire districts, even with the town of Mansfield, work with each other. Don't have a problem helping their brother firemen out. I know that for a fact. We will drive to wherever they're needed. That's just how all the fire districts work in this parish. I do have a little bit of problem. This is the second time you haven't come. This is your first time, so I can't hold the first time against you, coming in here asking this jury for money. I think your mayor has a problem by not giving you the funding that you need to operate your fire district, your fire department. I really do. He's done a lot of good things. He bought you some trucks and probably has bought you a lot of other equipment. But to come in here and ask for $67,000 just to improve your fire rating, because you're gonna come in, well, if we hold our fire rating, we're gonna end up saving the parish money because our fire rating didn't go up. I know the scale, I know how much it goes up by when the numbers change, okay? We're not talking about a tremendous amount of money. That our insurance would go up. Some points changes, the insurance does not change. It takes a couple points most of the time to make the insurance change. I just know that. I've been dealing with it too long, okay? So it's up to this board to decide whether or not to give you the money. I appreciate the work that you do. I think y'all do a good job, and that's all I can say about it. Anybody have any other questions?
Call
Let me
the
ask you, I have
question,
something.
Mr. Baker. Call the question.
Now, let me get, what other duties do y'all do other than put out fires? You doing any EMTs,
Yes,
work
sir.
wrecks, auto accidents, and all?
Yeah,
What else y'all do?
We doing hazmat, of course. We have to do medical
FMS.
calls. So we doing rescues, whatever it inquires the job that we have to do.
All right, let me ask you something. The pecan plant over there, you recently had to go over there to attend to a fire or something, right?
Yes, sir.
And in that, during that time, you discovered something that was almost, it had been, you hadn't caught it, it blew up the whole plant.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Pecan plant had a water main that had busted, had got a bunch of its pecans wet there. The process on pecans is just like hay that's been rolled up wet. It's gonna combust if it keeps smoldering. We got on top of it very quickly. We started removing the bags. We started making motions that we was gonna keep an eye on it. We had to move a truck over there just in case till they could get the cooler back on. So this went on about a month of us going back and forth with this, trying to make sure that we had it under control. If it had caught on fire, it burns into oil. So you're talking about a major hazmat scene that we would not have been able to control, shutting down a major highway, evacuating people on that side. So we stopped that from happening by just being very knowledgeable about it.
Okay, do y'all work accidents like perform EMT duties?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anytime there's an accident on any where along on the inside of the city limits, we're performing whatever rescue that we have to do or providing any type of medical assistance along with EMS. So we all, like he said, we work together, but we're normally the first ones there.
Do y'all go out in other areas in the parish too?
We just had to, the ladder truck that we use, of course, that we had to get for the hotels and for the courthouse there, we had to go assist IP, which we helped District 8. We stayed down there for 16 hours. And so a lot of that maintenance falls on just the city. And so, again, that's why we asking for the assistance.
All right, thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Y'all please vote now. Tie vote,
Well.
motion fails. Number 4, amend the general budget in the amount of $1,000.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.
And approve the president to sign a cooperative. I need to reword this, I guess, or what do I need to do? President, what do I need to do on this?
KCS.
Did they turn in all their paperwork for KCS? Cause this was set up for SUSLA.
Right. We would need the paperwork,
Correct.
the
That's
charter
correct.
for the KCS.
I don't see where we can do anything on it.
Yeah.
We don't have the proper paperwork or anything for,
No, sir.
No, sir.
But we could table this until you come with the information.
Yeah. I mean, we can resubmit it for next month if you'd like. Defer this to next month till we get the.
Right.
we need
I'll make the motion, defer.
a motion to defer until next month. You'll have a second.
Deferred next month.
You have a second to defer.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? As soon as she pops it up.
That's what I'm thinking.
Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Road committee, please.
Okay, road committee will come to order. Call for additions and deletions. I do have one. We'll make it item 3. To authorize taking in Martinez Lane private drive from Delta Road approximately 1,005 feet, now Martinez Lane into DeSoto Parish road system.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Burrell.
Hold on, she's not on the
Oh, I'm sorry.
committee.
Okay, Mr. Holmes, Mr. Raines, Mr. Parker.
You've got a map that looks like this on the table?
Yeah. It's on the table.
It's off of Highway 84, west.
They been maintaining,
Yeah.
and from what I see,
things
I
are-
understood if you maintain it for good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the red part is already.
The portion that you see in yellow, this is a project that's currently funded in our capital budget. We have a project going to bid next month to rehab that portion of the roadway. We've looked back to the previous minutes. In 2020, you accepted a little over 2,000 feet, that portion you see in red of Martinez Lane. This will be bringing into the system that portion that will be completing under that project next year. It's currently, private property. We're completing all the documents right now to transfer that property for it to be dedicated to the parish for public use. And this is just formalizing that the jury's gonna take it into the maintenance of the system after that. But we do have, currently it's fully funded to go in there. It's currently a gravel road. We're gonna go in there and cut soil cement and overlay the asphalt structure after we complete that project next month.
But the parish been maintaining.
No.
I get a motion?
Should we?
If the
Make it
par-
official.
Yeah, it hasn't been officially taken in, so we can't do any major
make it
rehab.
official.
I would say we have maintained it for years, but it's never been taken in.
Well, I thought they told me if you maintain it for 5 years, it's
Do we have
belong
a
to the parish.
a motion?
No, we don't have a motion or anything. Still waiting on a motion.
Who's on, that'll be,
Mr. Holmes, Mr. Raines, Mr. Parker, and
It's
Mr.
my understanding
Mr. Fuller's absent.
We probably assumed that we already had it in the system.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of it. I've gone back and looked at the minutes and just brought this as what I thought was a formality to make sure we address it, but it's my understanding that everybody was under the impression that it was already under the maintenance of the jury at this time.
I did too.
Hey, can I get a motion to add it to the agenda?
Look like we don't have a motion.
No motion, so we move on.
So what we do about that, Mr. North? What y'all
We can't
say?
take action on that until the parish takes that in. On
Oh,
that
so
portion.
y'all just gonna take my capital
I did not say that. You asked me what we can do. I said, we cannot do anything unless this body takes that in.
Yeah.
That's out of my hands.
You have it put on the agenda for next month.
Yeah, I mean, you can add it to the agenda for next month, but
I mean, ain't nobody.
Can we get a
saying-
motion to put it on the agenda for next month?
We'll have to have a motion to do that. You can
Yeah.
put it on the agenda if you want to put it on the agenda. Hasn't never been on
No.
the agenda yet.
Not if it fails.
Huh?
Is there any questions that y'all have that I can address for you today?
What's on that
Man, y'all
road?
been working on that, right?
yes.
You've been working
Yes,
on
sir.
And I voted against bringing all of it into the parish system, back in 2021.
Like I said,
What is on the rest of the road? What's down there?
this was pitched as an industrial park. you know,
According
in
to
the
what I
past.
see,
Yeah,
there's nothing. And whose industrial park is it? It belongs to us?
no.
All right then.
As it's currently.
Somebody's
yeah.
industrial park, they're making money off of. Tell them to fix their road.
Okay. But like I said, this was in the works when I hired on, and this was a project, like I said, we were going to bids with it next month, so we had to do some.
I want to
some
build a
rethinking and
barn on the
restructuring.
backside of my place. Y'all want to come build me a road?
So just to clarify something, Ms. Burrell, Mr. Ernell, there's no dispute that the jury's been maintaining, but to do a capital improvement, to improve it, you have to have the proper funding. That's what,
We shouldn't even be putting equipment on it.
I don't disagree with that, but.
I know I've been a jury over 8 years, and I know that's in my district. Part of it is in your district, and they've been maintaining it.
Because
this
they've been
whole
doing it,
time.
don't make it right. I mean, you steal $5 yesterday, does that mean you can go back and steal it tomorrow?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, you
You know?
saying that, but it's a whole bunch of roads, baby, and that we done brought up, and that's the very thing they would tell you. Oh, Miss Pereira, y'all want me to get the calling them?
Our policy,
Or did you-
our policy is to bring a road into the parish once it's up to a certain standard. Is that not our policy? Then stick to the policy
No,
for everybody.
they say if they maintain it over 5
Get
years,
some
it
order.
becomes
We can't
fair.
discuss it anyway, because we're gonna have a motion on it.
Right.
Y'all just doing it 'cause it's my road, but it's
No.
all good.
I'll do it for any road. I'm not willing to
it's
bring
all
new roads
good.
into the
Okay,
parish unless
okay,
they're
okay.
up to date.
Motion failed. Get it on, get it on.
Did this go before the planning commission? Why not? Why hasn't this gone before the planning commission? We have a planning commission.
Hey,
We have a planning commission supposed to tell them how to build a road, and then they can turn it over to us. Why isn't it going before the planning commission? Why isn't this kind of stuff going before the planning commission?
Order, it failed, so we'll move on, Mr. Jones.
Okay, did we get some public comments? Okay, authorize renaming of Wilson Road, AKA Nellen Private Drive,
Pisses
as Nellen Road. Drive? Make it drive? Okay.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Parker,
Second.
second by Mr. Holmes. Any discussion?
I put this on the, agenda. The people that, live there, have been living there for I don't know how long. We've been maintaining that road since 2002, I believe it is.
Yeah, y'all actually took that road in 2002, and there's been a question of whether it's a private road or a
And
public road.
all we're doing here is changing the name of the road.
Correct.
Due to the fact, everything concerning that road with the EMS, 911, the mail, everything goes by Nealon Drive.
I would say,
And so all I'm asking for is to change the name of that road to Nealon Road instead of Wilson Road. Because that's where all the addresses are, the mail is set up that way, 911 is set up that way, EMS is set up that way. So if you don't change it, then all that different entities involved in this will have to change to Wilson Road because they're already listed as Nealon Road.
Right, and we also have a Wilson Road elsewhere in the parish, so it's gonna, it confuses 911, so.
Here's the thing,
Yep.
it's not Wilson Road everywhere else. It's Wilson Lane and Wilson Street that didn't perish. That's the only road that's been ever named Wilson Road.
I'm telling you what 911's told us. I don't
Well,
disagree with that.
That's the big deal here, because y'all are saying one thing and 911's saying something else, and it's been this way for, since before 2002. Because property, the guy who owned the property back in M.T. Wilson owned it. He donated that, or gave access to all the oil field companies to do that road.
Yeah.
So y'all have maintained it long before 2002.
When it was Wilson Road.
Right.
Which was my grandfather who was M.T. Wilson.
Right.
And it was always Wilson Road. And the sign was out there, Wilson Road. And at whatever point within the last,
2 months or so.
well, the Nellen Private Drive Road just went out there a few weeks ago when the storm came and they had to come cut the trees.
Approximately 2 months ago,
Because they didn't
correct.
want to cut the trees. And they did come and cut them. But then once they cut them, they changed the Wilson Road sign, took it down and put the Nellen Private Drive sign out there and said that we will be responsible for maintaining the road. But they have been maintaining the road all of these years under, and the Wilson Road sign was still there.
Right.
And now we're just asking for the road to be unprivatized, so we won't be responsible for maintaining the 2.5 mile road
No.
that's coming through property that's not all belong to us. We only got 80 acres back there, and that's probably what at the very end of the road, which is a quarter mile or so, but the 2 miles coming into the property is not ours, and we don't feel, as us being residents back there, that we should have to maintain the entire 2.5 mile road. We just want it to be back publicized so the parish can continue to maintain it.
Right, and not only that, when that last storm came through, there were a number of trees down across that road. And they were trees so big, we didn't have anything that could handle anything that large. We had to have help to get those trees moved so we could even get in and out.
Yeah, and to my understanding, Mr. Norton did come out there and look at them. And I think Mr. Rodriguez was with him as well. So they seen that the trees were too big for us to be able to maintain. We don't have that type of equipment to cut those type of trees down anyways. And it was a young baby back there as well. They didn't have any electricity. We was just asking for assistance to cut the trees down so they can get out.
And
So there was trees on the road?
On the Wilson Road.
Across the road,
cross
yes, sir.
Cross road, so.
Just to
yeah,
sit,
y'all wouldn't be-
bottom
wouldn't
line is,
expect
the
it to do
jury
that no
is
way.
responsible for this
Yeah,
road. Y'all
y'all
took
wouldn't
it in
expect to
over
do that no
20
way.
years ago. There's
Right.
been a confusion with 911 as to the name. To remove that confusion, it's recommended to name it Nelson, or,
Nellen.
excuse me, Nellen
Nellen
Drive.
Road.
So,
Nellen
Now,
Drive.
we
Nellen
would
Drive.
respectfully ask, instead of making it Nellen Road, if you would make it Nellen Drive, it would make it a whole lot easier on us as far as getting our stuff straight, because it's made major confusion for us.
Yeah, because
We-
taking it to Nellen Road and all of our stuff within our mortgages and all of
Right,
that stuff is
everything.
Nellen Private Drive.
Right.
Instead of just taking it at Nellen Road, just take the private off and just leave it Nellen Drive. We would
Right.
be satisfied with that and just allow it to be a parish road that the parish continue to maintain and not us.
It's been, I've been back there for 12 years, and I'm gonna tell you what, it's been a difficult 12 years, because,
This is the deal. Basically, I'm gonna say 25 years ago, I went down Wilson Road. That was the sign that was up there.
Yes.
When I was working with the state. And at that time, there was one road down in there.
right,
So I went all the way to the end, and there was a house there. And
Little old house.
we were, I don't even remember what I was doing with the forestry or why I was down there, but it's something to do with the forestry. When they called me about this, I went up there, I knew where the road was at, and I started down it, and I have yet to get to that house. There is so many roads going off of it now to the oil field locations and stuff.
Exactly.
So it was, I was confused myself. I just knew I knew there was houses there. I just wasn't sure which road to take. And after I took 2 or 3 of them that just went to well locations, I just decided, well, I know what they're dealing with. Let me come out. And I got with Mr. Norton, and we found out that the 911's got it one way, the EMS has it this way, the mail has it this way, And so to eliminate all the confusion, I'm just asking that it be named Snellen.
Drive. That's what they're asking. All right,
That's what they're asking. That will make everything simple
All
for
right.
everybody concerned.
Okay, so that's your motion.
That's my motion.
Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Raines. Any other discussion? Okay. I'll put on the motion. Motion carries.
Thank y'all
Thank
for
y'all.
showing up.
Thank you.
Item two, authorize the parish administrator to sign a letter of support for I-69 connector, future year 25 through 26, MPDG application.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Holmes,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Parker. Any discussion?
What is this?
This is a letter that we would send to Secretary of Transportation supporting any grants that we're trying to seek to complete the I-69 connector. That's it.
Okay.
Can I ask one question? I just
Sure.
want to make sure I'm clear. So does that mean that they're gonna take the Mellon Private Drive sign down and put a green sign up that says Mellon Drive and the parish continue to maintain it for us? That's right.
After the next meeting, yes,
After
ma'am.
the next meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amazes me how they
Any other discussion on item two? Hearing none, please vote. Okay, motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Then motion by Mr. Parker,
Second.
second by Mr. Raines. Any other discussion? We are adjourned.
Solid waste, please.
Solid Waste Committee will come to order. Call for any additions or deletions. Hearing none. Any guests or public comments? Hearing none. Solid waste items. Update the solid waste disposal fees and environmental fees at the Monday landfill.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion by Mr. Jones, a second by Mr. Parker. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote now. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Thank you, we're adjourned.
Okay, a special meeting called, sir? Special meeting called to order. We're just gonna roll right down to, any good guests and public comments on the special meeting? Any additions and deletions to the special meeting? If none, item one, authorize the president to sign a proclamation declaring Friday, July the 5th, 2024 a legal holiday.
So moved.
Yeah.
Got a motion by Mrs. Simpson, second by Mrs. Burrell. Up for discussion.
I'd like to know why, when we give our employees a holiday, they have to have another day off to recoup, I guess, from the holiday. July the 4th's always been a one-day holiday. One day. If it happens on a Monday, a Sunday, we give them Monday. If it happens on a Saturday, we give them Friday. But if it happens on the middle of the week, we're gonna have to start giving them another day off now. Is this gonna be the way we're gonna do business? I mean, Juneteenth could fall any day of the week. You know, are we gonna give them 2 days for Juneteenth every time we turn around? Or any of these other holidays that fall in the middle of the week? You know, what's the reason for this? I just can't figure what the reasoning for it. You know, our employees, are they not able to take up where they left off on Wednesday, Friday morning? I mean, if that's the case, undoubtedly, we can't take up off where we left off Friday on Monday. You know? I asked Mr. Norton if, all of our debris had been cleaned up. from the storms, and he says no. So I would think there's plenty of work to be done. Are all of our potholes filled in?
No, sir.
No. You know, and then someone told me the reasoning behind it is because the governor signed a proclamation allowing the state employees to be off. Well, is our governor gonna pay these salaries for these people to be off, or are we gonna do it?
We're gonna do it.
All right. So we gonna let the governor run our business, or are we gonna run our business?
Any more discussion? If not, please vote. Motion failed. Item number 2, award the best advantage generous proposal for the debris removal, disposable service and debris removal, monitoring service for debris removal in connection with the severe storm from May the 30th, 2024. RFPs will be received July the 1st, 2024 at 2 p.m. today.
Okay, I like to, I put a packet in there for y'all. The only,
And they need a motion and
oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Holmes, second by Mr. Raines and Mr. Parker. Discussion. Ms. Lilly.
Okay, apologize on that. Put a package on y'all's folders. We only received one proposal, and it was for the removal monitoring of the debris. We advertised the RFPs back in June the 20th. We gave 2 weeks. Sent that out to 7 companies that do debris removal. I heard back from 3 today, and the reason they didn't submit any requests for proposals from them, one was there wasn't enough quantities for them to be able to give us a reasonable cost on that. The other company was looking for more of a pre-disaster request for proposal, meaning that if they were to submit a proposal, we would be using them forward for any other disaster events. And then the last company that responded of why they didn't submit a proposal was they did not have enough time to come do a site visit. But that was on the debris removal. We did, like I said, got a debris monitoring request for proposal, and y'all can see the rates on that based on the prices they're giving us. It will be up to y'all whether you want to go ahead and accept this proposal for the monitoring part. We are working with the company that needed the extra time to submit us a quote. They told me probably Wednesday for that. But outside of that one particular company, I don't foresee us being able to get anything else out there unless we go back and, you know, get some more different companies out there. But we did post this on Mansfield Enterprise. We went through Bid Express. We sent it to 8 companies. So I can only, like I said, report back to you on what the quote will be once we get it from that third company that hopefully will get it to us on Wednesday. They just did not feel comfortable without first coming to the parish to do a site visit around the parish to see how much debris we're talking about. But we are going to need a debris monitoring company to be able to go ahead and do the monitoring of whomever we end up choosing for the debris removal in order to go ahead and submit for reimbursement to the state through GOSEP. They need both contractors and to go hand in hand. And for us to be able to apply for the reimbursement at 75% of the cost. And if y'all remember, we amended the budget a while back to be able to pay for this.
And what are they gonna do by the monitoring? What is this going to consist of?
The monitoring, what they do is they go ahead and they make sure that they're picking up the right debris. They make sure that they're getting the tickets and all that information, the loading tickets. They put all that together and essentially, you know, make sure that the weight is correct. It's just, I mean, the term, what it is monitoring. I don't know if Mr. Norton
Probably the
wants to go.
location,
Yes, finding the location, coming up with the best plan of how we can go ahead and finish this removal cleanup to the best.
So in addition to what Liz said, the monitor also provides the oversight. You don't want to hire just a contractor to come in, hey, we picked up this much garbage. Well, how do you prove that? The monitor proves that. They provide you with the oversight on that kind of stuff. It's keeping one agency honest is essentially what you're doing. Making sure we're spending the money effectively.
Well, we're not gonna hire a monitor unless we have someone to clean it up, right?
Correct.
Correct.
So voting on this tonight would not hire them, but put them on standby until we can find somebody to come pick the debris up.
That is
'Cause
correct.
as of right now, we have nobody.
That is
Correct.
correct.
What have we budgeted for the debris removal?
Well, go ahead.
We budget $1 million, but like I said, with the anticipation of receiving 75% back from the state.
Oh, yeah.
That's debris and monitor.
Yes.
$1 million.
That covers the whole cleanup from monitoring to everything, admin fees.
When they clean it up, they monitor it, clean it up. Do they dispose of it, or we have to?
No, we take it at our burn pit and we actually get an offset to our contribution, the 25%, at our tip.
We're getting
So
tipping
if,
rate.
that's correct. We are reimbursed.
Have we-
That's, so if we're getting $33 per ton for 3,000 estimated cubic yards of debris, we get that tip as an offset to the 25% contribution. So say our tip total is $100,000, you're effectively eating away $100,000 of what's required to get access, get the reimbursement back at 75%.
The people that do the debris removal, are they paid a flat rate? That's what I was getting at
They're paid based upon the cubic yards that they remove. That's monitored by a separate party to make sure we're getting the accurate numbers.
Have we checked in with or thought about checking in with IP to see if they could take this wood and dump it at their place or sell it to them?
No, sir, we have not asked IP, honestly.
I don't think they'll accept that.
Yeah, I don't know what their standards are, but I mean, probably worth a phone call to ask them if they'd take
They chip
debris
most
that.
all of it that goes out there. It's up in a chipper. So, you know,
If you were to do that, I don't know if that qualifies as an offset, you know.
I think they hire contractors to chip it outside the plant, and the contractor hauls the chip in the plant, I believe.
I don't know if IP is, they
so they have a
do.
chip machine out there. They take logs.
But that's not a function of what the jury currently does. I don't think that would offset your costs, your 25%. Believe it, your tip would be the one that offset any admin fees that we are incurring. Excuse me.
There's any more questions? No more questions, please vote on the monitoring service.
Yes, Jody, that's supposed to be on just the monitoring service.
Yeah, I didn't tell her. Thank you. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn?
So move.
Mr. Parker made the motion, Mr. Raines seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We adjourn. Thank everyone for coming out.